I've just gathered my thoughts on the Flash movie, and here is my spoiler-free review. Alright guys, so I'm going to go straight into this and not waste any of your time. So the Flash, when first announced, was said to be one of the greatest comic book films that resets the entire DC universe, according to James Gunn. And whilst the final result of the movie does not meet this, the Flash is a solid film that alters the DCU slightly to suit James Gunn's needs, pampering diehard fans, but at the same time neglecting work on an even better story than what we actually get, especially with the premise the writers had to play with. Diving in, the plot of the film is unique. There are a lot of time of events that are a result of smart writing at times, and the pacing is pretty great. There are cameos and fight scenes in just the first 10 minutes of watching. Both Barry Allens are great characters that drive the story forward, and they learn important lessons by the final acts of the film. But despite this, there are a few problems. And the first big problem in the Flash film is the lack of an antagonist throughout the entire film. General Zod just didn't sit with me and is not a great villain in all honesty. He just shows up for fights and he doesn't really push the story forward. I felt like his lack of presence throughout this film just made me not care about him and actually see him as a threat to Barry. And there is another threat towards the end of the film that was relevant, but in general the antagonists in this film were poor. Now going on to characters in general, and this is where the film stands out for me. There are loads of flashbacks and scenes with the Allen family that really add a great sense of emotional depth to the film. There is a lot of work on Barry Allen's character with an important, heartwarming message at the core. And it's his issues with his family that we see at the beginning of the film that actually drive this movie forward. And the plot of the film is also very relevant to the character, and relevant to the character of Barry Allen, and relevant for him to complete his arc. And it's his journey. Although the plot does lack a bit, it is really there for his character, which I do respect. In terms of characters and how strong they really are, we can actually make a slight comparison to Across the Spider-Verse on this note, which I thought was truly incredible for what it did with its characters and their relevance to the plot. There are some aspects of this, such as the character's journey and their meaning, that stand out just like Across the Spider-Verse did. Supergirl and Keaton's Batman, who are honestly great, develop in small ways and are evolved nicely as the film progresses with some really nice moments on the screen. Whilst cinematography was pretty decent, the CGI was really terrible, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it was like really terrible. And I couldn't really enjoy the fight scenes because of this, and I felt a bit underwhelmed going into them because it really just felt like an advert for a new video game, and it just didn't give off that vibe that I was watching a movie or a comic book movie fight scene, if that makes sense. Now going on to the final acts of the film, and I'll be real here, the film's ending felt weak and slightly rushed. The multiverse story could have been wrapped up better in a great way, but as said before, the movie chooses Barry's character arc instead of ramping up the threats and the stakes, and takes a safe route, which I respect. Acting, which I haven't really talked about this film, was great, especially from Sasha Saleh and Keaton. Ezra Miller was good too, but I didn't feel it as much, but not as great as Sasha and Keaton, who I think were the standouts. Overall, The Flash is integral to the DCU going ahead, packing a solid story which could have been better with the premise at hand, but it can still satisfy audiences with the story, cameos, and pacing which keep you engaged from minute one. And so I'm going to give the Flash movie a 7.3 out of 10. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe and follow our Instagram for more reviews and more content about the film. Link in the description. We're really close to 1k followers, so any engagement can help. Thank you guys for watching and stay tuned. Peace.